I have to do the splits right now. Like, this is my
Yeah.
job. And it's
Yeah.
just like, even if I don't feel like doing it, which I didn't feel that great going into the workout, having that pressure come back, I was like, I like having that pressure.
Yeah.
I like having to have to do the thing that, I do anyway, even when I don't want to do it. It's a good pressure. So I really fucking love that. So
yeah. What is up? It's your boy Johnny Shreve, IFBB Pro Mr. Telek. It is. Welcome back to the episode of Straight Talk with Shreve, featuring JujiMufu.
JujiMufu.
Yeah.
I thought you were waiting for me.
Yeah. No, yeah. Mr. John Call. So I wanted to get him on the channel because I think he's one of the most interesting fitness influencers, athletes, just, on the platform. And he's got an awesome, unique take on fitness. And every time I watch him, he's just like, it's like a bundle of like, it makes you happy. It brings like, fun to fitness. And I want to get him on here and share his story. I'm sure you guys know who he is, but if you don't, we're going to find out even more. So thanks for coming on, John. Yeah, first of all, I want to know, where did Juji come from?
Sure, that's a great place to start. It's a name I made up when I was 13 years old, so I've been stuck with it for a long time. I was trying to create a name for America Online, AOL, and
Yeah.
my username back then was John Call 13, and I turned 14 years old. So on my 14th birthday, I was like, I'm no longer 13. I need a new username, but I don't want another number because that just means I'll have to change it again the next year. So I sat there for a bit trying to pick a cool name, and all the cool names were taken, and it would throw a giant number string at the end of the name to give you your username. I was like, I don't want that. I want something unique. So I sat there for a long time, and I just got really frustrated. And I was like, I'm wasting my time. On the keyboard, and JujiMufu popped out, and it logged me in. I was like, well, okay, JujiMufu. I guess I'm JujiMufu. And then I started communicating with people online by that name, man. I opened a website with that name, and I was stuck with it.
That's cool. That's like decades.
Yeah, it's well, how old are you? Are you almost 40 or are you 40?
I'm 40.
You're 40. Yeah. So I'm
just turned
37 right now. So
that's a long-lasting brand.
Yeah, about 20, I can't do math, 25 years, 26, 24 years.
Whatever. You say 2 decades. It sounds even better. 2 decades.
Over 2 decades.
Over 2 decades, right? I used ChatGPT to put together this entire podcast style. So what I did was like, I already knew Juji. I've been following Juji forever. Yeah, I look up to him as just like a creator, a business person, follow and all that good stuff. He's absolutely like, a world of wealth, a wealth of knowledge. So I was like, let's just see what, ChatGPT can do. And so I was like, tell me everything you need to know about Juji. So I'm going to just breeze through some things. I want to know which ones are actually like.
See if it's right.
Let's see if it's actually right. Give me 1 sec. All right. Okay. Background, early life. Born December 9th, 1985, Huntsville, Alabama, USA.
Correct.
All right. You don't sound well. Is Alabama? I'm not good with accents all over the states, but I feel like you should have a harder accent.
If I'm around my dad, my accent will pop out really hard.
Okay.
But other than that, no, you can't really tell.
Okay. All right. So education. He has a background in chemistry, having earned a bachelor degree in that field.
Bachelor's of Science in Biology with a minor in chemistry. It's pretty close.
Where'd you go to school?
UA Huntsville, UAH.
Nice.
It's actually a really good college in Alabama. It's one of the better colleges in Alabama for sure. Maybe one of the best.
That's so cool. All right. All right. So fitness career. Actually, like, what'd you do in college? Did you just study in college, or do you any kind of like sports or?
No sports or anything. I got into college after high school. I looked at it as just sort of like, when you go to middle school to high school, you don't question whether you're going to high school. It's just like you're going to high school. It's just what you do. So after high school, that was my mindset. I was like, you got to go to college. You just go to college. It's just like, you have to do this. It wasn't like, do I go or not? It was like, no, it was as natural as going from one grade school to the next. So I originally got into it thinking I wanted to do something with fitness, maybe exercise physiology or nutrition. And I didn't really know how to do that. So the counselor told me, just start a biology path. And then as you get closer to graduation, you can specialize if you want. And it just so happened that when I got to that point, I just kept taking the hard science classes and didn't specialize, and just had a general biology degree with a minor in chemistry. So that's kind of what came out of it.
Like I got a degree in criminology and sociology, but like a science, chemistry it's not like, it's pretty hard still. It's not like easy school. There's not papers and like, research. It's like a lot more. That's tough.
Yeah. Well, organic chemistry is a course, particularly that one. Organic chemistry is just there as just kind of like, are you going to pass? Or are you going to fail? You know what I mean? That's one of those like ball buster courses when you get into them. But, I passed it, and, I got everything. I actually worked in industry with that degree for about 7 years before I became full-time fitness.
I was gonna ask,
My
yeah.
self-employed.
So what'd you do with it?
So I didn't know this. I thought I was going to be working in a lab. I was just going to have work in a lab, but I worked for a company that made the equipment that labs used. So it was lab automation. So we
Nice.
made liquid handling instruments for the life sciences. So basically, instead of like a pipette into like little vials, you have microplates with different wells, and we had the machines that actually run them. So it was like a cross between biology and like tech support, like a
Yeah.
computer thing. So that's kind
Yeah.
of what the job was like. It was great. I loved it. I did it for 7 years.
So okay, so let me see. Let's go into this. I want to ask a little more of that, but next question. So your fitness style, your training incorporates a blend of bodybuilding, powerlifting, acrobatics. He particularly is well known for his extreme flexibility and is seen
Yes.
performing splits while lifting heavy weights.
Hmm. I trained to splits for 2 hours today, actually.
So you just like you just like Jean-Claude Van Damme just splits and just like, what does it look like?
Oh, you like a typical workout?
Yeah, like like a splits workout.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, you start with like some dynamic warm up, some dynamic stretches, moving, and then you just start to work on you work backwards from the end goal. So if the end goal is like, let's say a squat, for example, if your end goal is a squat, how do you warm up for the squat? Well, you're going to find all the like, oh man, my shoulders, geez, like I got to
Yeah.
really spend extra time on my shoulders to get underneath the bar. Or if you got knee problems, you might spend more time warming up with exercises that are going to kind of like, get the knee tissue, blood in there, get everything moving, movement patterns. So with splits being the end goal for the workout is just to train top end front splits, which is what I did today.
Yeah.
Work backwards from that. I was just finding the movements that, I needed to work on more. And which is for me right now, it's shins and toes, which sounds really strange, but the back
Yeah.
foot tends to cramp a lot when I do the splits. So I have to
Uh,
put a lot of extra tension on different types of exercises to really work that toe point and get through the cramps. Because if cramping on the back foot in the splits, for example, is a problem, it's not something you run from. It's actually something you run towards, and it fucking hurts. But that's the only way to get past it. So yeah,
so
that was a typical
you're
workout.
talking with splits when your legs are
Correct.
back.
So
Yeah.
the middle split is the one I do in between chairs a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And
That
then
that's actually a harder split to do. Front splits are a lot easier, but you can still go deep and use weight. So you
yeah.
could use like a weight vest or hold a kettlebell, or I've done it with 225 pounds on my back before, but I didn't want to fuck around with that today. So
I've been trying to get my split better, my back and front. I have a yoga instructor that I work with.
oh
Like
yeah.
after like if it wasn't for this year, after I finished like bodybuilding when I thought I was gonna be finished, I was like, all right, time to just mobility, just work on mobility. Let's get ourselves let's get down to as far as we can, work with a yoga instructor.
Hmm.
And it was getting, it's still working on pretty good, but the end goal is to be able to do the splits that way. I'm down to holding like a block. So
Dude, you're so
I'm
close.
doing all right.
You could, yeah, oh yeah. It's a that's the trade secret is splits are so much easier than people think. It's got such a high return on investment.
Yeah.
Sorry if I don't know this, but can you do a backflip?
I can do it to back tuck.
Okay, you can do a backflip tap then. That's one of those moves where it's one of the easier moves to do, but everybody like freaks out, especially when you're a large dude like you or
Yeah.
like me. When a big dude does a backflip, they all fucking stop and they're just like,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
not a hard thing to do. There's a lot
Yeah.
of other skills that are way harder, and it
Yes.
just doesn't really give you the return on investment. So, splits are one of those things that are actually pretty easy to do if you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people respond very well to it and respect it. Everyone
Yeah.
can appreciate the splits.
Yeah. It's I'm always preach mobility. So like if you
Yeah.
could, like I feel like I agree with a lot of what you preach, because if a lot of people could till they're dead be able to do the splits, or at least halfway there, will be that much
Yeah.
more beneficial for their life.
Oh, dude, flexibility is just one of those things that just gives you such a high quality of life.
Yeah,
There's not a single day that goes by where I don't find myself in some dumbass position where I got to wedge myself underneath a table to grab a paper towel or a fork or
yeah,
something. And I'm just
yeah.
like, I feel like a freak show. Like, look at me. I'm like Gumby, like this large Gumby reaching underneath things. It's so
Yeah,
useful. Like when you're loading up a lawnmower in the back of a pickup truck or off, you can just put yourself in really weird stretchy positions, and it's fucking useful, man.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's so handy to have. And once you develop flexibility, dude, that one lasts. Like a
yeah,
lot of the biomotor characteristics that your body can adapt to, they have a decay rate that's pretty quick. Like you don't train it for a while to go away. Flexibility is just one of the ones that's just like once you get it good, it's not going away. It's
yeah.
worth training.
You just gotta like consist. I always I look at it like putting out a forest fire. Like you're always like,
Hmm.
if you let it go, you got a problem with you. But you're always like, at some point you're always putting out, like on a day to day, just like keeping it like at bay, and you're just like, you're stretching a bit and doing enough. But if
Yeah.
you forget to, you don't for a while, then all of a sudden you're just, shit, I got to work on my flexibility again.
You'll get it to the point where it'll take care of itself, and you won't stretch
Yeah,
for a while, and you'll still have it.
yeah,
It'll become permanent, and
yeah,
you'll find ways to do it where you can integrate it into your workouts really easy. I don't have to have dedicated flexibility sessions. I just do because I like it.
yeah, yeah. That's
I
the
don't
thing.
have to do that to keep my flexibility.
Yeah, that's the thing, is getting people to like to do the things they don't want to do, or that are important.
Hmm.
Like stretching, or like cardio, or any of those things that aren't as like flashy. It's like you got to
Yeah.
get them to just, it's necessary. So that's, man, it's cool. All right, so let's move on to the next one here. Entrepreneurship, grip training. Juji has expressed interest in grip strength training and has developed tools and resources to relate to his unique aspects of training. True.
Yes, I own a company called Grip Genie. So.
Explain
Well, we
that.
sell grip tools. Oh, just like grabbing, holding, pinching, crushing strength. There's different types of ways to describe the different types of strength you have with grip.
Yeah,
Also, there's the whole ecosystem of exercises that actually build up forearms, which is
yeah,
a very appreciable muscle group to build up because you could be walking around with a t-shirt on and people can tell you to work out. It's like, well, his fucking
yeah,
forearms are huge and veiny and so yeah, we got interested in grip strength years ago and just opened a company with it. And we've been around since 2018. I co-own it with Aaron, which is the co-owner, and
yeah,
we're doing pretty well. We've been making resin grip tools lately. You've probably seen them around like the eggplant things from
yeah, yeah,
yeah, you've probably seen that
I
at the
saw it
Pure
in
Muscle Fitness.
Pure. Yeah,
Yeah, we make those.
yeah. That's awesome. I've
Uh-huh.
used it a couple times. So
Yeah, it's
do you
fun.
have the other one, like the ball as well too? Is that you as well? Like the
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so I've used a lot of your stuff already, which is so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's just something else I do.
All right, and let me see, clothing line. You have you have your own clothing line, apparel, your
Yes.
pants and your all your apparel and whatnot. Your supplements. You have a
Okay,
supplement.
so I used to have a supplement line in 2017, and I got out of it because supplements are kind of hard to have a company
Yeah,
with, man. Like, I was an ambassador for HD Muscle a few years ago. I no
yeah,
longer am, because I was just better on the marketing side rather than running the supplement company. Because supplements, man, it's like you got to ship these giant
yeah,
protein containers. The margins are low, the lead times are high, the front money is high because it's like people to understand. You get one flavor of pre-workout. Well, you got to order like 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 units of
yeah,
just one flavor. You can't create a line very easily without putting a ton of front money in.
yeah,
And then the
yeah,
market is super saturated as well. It's tough. So supplements are pretty hard. So I kind of got out of it. Well, I didn't kind of, I did.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
out of doing the supplement side of the business.
And you still have your smelling salts for sure.
Yes, I
Yeah,
don't
those are,
really categorize that as supplement. But we do have that. Yes.
yeah, yeah, a product but yeah, it helps your training. I would say I wouldn't say it's something you're not you're definitely
Yeah,
ingesting.
yeah. Well, it's not essential, but it does it can help you, man. I really do think it can. There's a lot of studies like, oh, they're useless, and it's like, I don't know, fucking just yeah. The way I describe you've taken a hit of smelling salts before, right?
I've used yours.
Yeah, they're pretty strong.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the way I describe it to people is like you touch a bug zapper, bleh, you know what I mean? It's zapped.
yeah,
Okay, you're okay. You're not harmed. There's no long-term damage to smelling salts, but you're not thinking about anything else other than the fact that you just got zapped, right?
yeah,
So the smelling salts, it's like you're getting ready to do a heavy lift. You're in your head. You're doubtful. You're like, I don't know if I can lift this. And you take a hit of smelling salts. You're like, fuck it. You know what? Let's just do this. It
yeah,
just gets you out of your head, so you can just walk up to it and just do the thing without having that self-doubt talk just go in loops. That's
yeah,
really the main use of it, and it's fun.
yeah, yeah. I've used them before. They're real strong.
Yeah.
Let me see. Public perception, influence. See this one. Juji is considered a highly influential figure in the fitness community. His approach to fitness is unconventional and inspiring to many people seeking more variety of an entertaining approach to working out. Very true.
Did the AI generate that?
Yeah.
I love AI.
I mean, the AI love it, man.
It's so nice to me.
Yeah, right. All right, we got one more. We got challenges and controversy. All right.
Okay.
Well admired by many. Some critics have questioned his training techniques and use of supplements. However, he continues to maintain a strong following and influence the fitness world.
Well, yeah.
I think, yeah,
I mean,
cool.
yeah.
All right, so here's in conclusion, Juji's combination of power, flexibility, and creativity has made him a standout figure in the fitness community. Whether performing impressive feats of strength, entertaining his followers with quirky videos, and sharing his insights in training and nutrition, John Call continues to inspire and engage people around the world.
Well, it's great. I can't believe AI. I love AI. Wow.
That's all. Like you just that's
it's
all.
too
That's even you're
flattering.
famous. How is what?
It's too flattering. It's
Right.
too nice to me.
It's getting all the information about you in the World Wide Web, and that's what it came up with. So
Interesting.
people are whatever. Maybe you put that in there. Maybe you.
No. Trust me. I don't have enough time to do that crap.
Yeah. All right. So next, I thought it would be funny to ask questions. So the questions that came out the first one they were pretty like lame. They're like basic. I'm like, this is boring. This can't be. So I was just telling John earlier. I was watching an interview with Ice Cube and Tucker Carlson. And the question he was asking Ice Cube were like, he was, the shots were really cool. They're like right up in his face and like these angles and look really intimate and like, you're just like really engaged. And then I typed in, I'm like, ask the questions in the style of Tucker Carlson. They came back. I was like, Jesus. I'm like, yo, chill. A little biased here. So I was also watching, what's it called? Vlad Entertainment. I was watching Chris Como on Vlad Entertainment. It was just on. I'm not a politic person whatsoever. I just like entertaining conversations. Anyway, so I was like, well, they're polar opposites. So let's say combine the two styles and ask the same questions. So here's what it came up with.
Okay.
All right. So I basically took all the information that it had on you. I'm like, ask 5 to 10 questions based on the information I have, and then ask them in the style combined of Tucker Carlson and Chris Como. All right. Unique approach and challenges. Question: Your approach to fitness is unorthodox, combining elements that most people would never think to mix. What led you to the unique path, and how do you respond to critiques who say it's more of a spectacle than serious fitness?
Okay. Let's see here. The all roads lead to the answer of I like too many things. So I started off with kind of just going back real quick. I started off in martial arts, Taekwondo, and then I got into the acrobatic side of that. And then I found out shortly after that all the best athletes in the world lift weights, which none of the other people that did what I was doing was doing. So I was like, I'll get an edge here if I lift weights. So I started lifting weights, and then I got addicted to lifting weights. So I'm both
Nice.
flips and shit, and I'm doing deadlifts and squats, and I care about boosting those numbers up because I thought it was cool. And then somewhere along the line, I got tired of working out for 3 hours a day and looking like I didn't train because I was always keeping my body weight down on purpose for the flips.
Yeah,
Excess body weight makes anything in the air that much harder.
yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to start bodybuilding because I know how to do it. I know I just got to do isolation exercises and do all these other things. And I blew up real quick. This was in my late 20s. So I got big real quick because, imagine training top end body weight strength for so long,
Yeah.
keeping your nutrition dialed in for so long, and never doing isolation exercises. And then you just flip the switch.
I,
I
re-
mean, you're
I,
going to,
yeah, I remember. I remember you because you always had, you always looked like you're on the cusp of just like blowing up.
yeah.
You had the muscle bellies, the frame, the size. You just
I was
didn't have
trying
like
not to
that.
blow up.
Yeah, yeah. You were just like you're almost. And then I remember when you took that change, and then you were like, oh shit, there's he's big. He's big and he's
Well,
flipping.
yeah, I was doing it on purpose to stay small, but then I got in my late 20s, like I've already peaked the acrobatics.
Yeah.
Everybody does this in their teens. I'm past my prime now. I might as well do something different, which is combine both, be muscular and be able to do flips. And so then I was like, okay, it's time to put on some muscle.
What are your stats so people know what's flipping around? What's your like how tall weight
Yeah,
wise, height?
I'm 5'10" and I'm averaging like 250. Yeah.
Wow, cool.
So
Damn.
when I was in my tricking prime, I was 185 pounds. The heaviest I got where I still had appreciable skill level was about 210. The
Yeah.
moment I went from 210 to 220 to 225 to 230, that little range right there was like that's when my skill set started to fall apart. I had to pay attention to what moves I wanted to keep, and I had to really kind of change the way I trained where it was because it's a lot harder to be big and do flips than it is to
Yeah.
be a normal
Yeah.
size and do flips.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
way harder. It's exponentially harder. It's not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like linear difficulty. It's like you go from 240 to 250 and some moves are just gone. Like
Yeah.
done. You cannot do this anymore.
Yeah. What would be a trick that you can no longer do at your size that you were able to do easily before?
Okay, so most of the moves that are affected by extra size or weight or twisting moves, which it
Okay.
sounds great, like it sounds crazy, but it's like, well, that's like everything. It's like not everything. Aerials and inversion moves aren't as affected by it. You mentioned an aerial earlier, which is a no-handed cartwheel, not
Yeah.
nearly as affected by body weight. It's one of my best tricks still. Backflip, which is just like this, not really affected by body weight that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not as much. Especially like standing back tucks. You can still do a hella high standing back tuck at a heavier weight. The moment you start trying to do full twisting backflips, corkscrews, any trick that is a swing through or rebound motion,
Yeah.
that's when your body weight will kick you in the ass. Some kicks, some spin kicks are not as affected by it either, but it's kind of a it's a longer conversation. I don't think people listening to this need to go into that much detail, but yeah, I mean, weight matters.
Yeah.
This is why
Yeah.
gymnasts, when they step on scales and their coach sees they're like a pound heavier than they were the other day, they get their ass chewed out. Like, what did you do? Like, you're 108 pounds now instead of 107. Like what, dude? It's like, oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
every
Wow.
pound makes a difference.
Yeah. So, what do you say to the critics who think just a spectacle, not in serious fitness?
Part of the job. I mean,
Good
I'm
answer.
sorry, but like
Yeah.
doing splits of weight and lifting weights in crazy dumb ways, they're they're pretty good. Like maybe not for training, but for
Yeah.
entertainment, they're pretty good.
I
And
mean, you gotta, there's, I get sometimes I get videos, not of yourself, but I'll get some videos of people doing some weird stuff in the gym. You'll see the guys that are, one guy's carrying like 400 pounds on his shoulder and walking in the
yeah,
gym, catching, 200 pounds. It's like, you, someone shouldn't have to tell you that that's not how you train. You should, common sense is like that guy's doing that for entertainment. Yeah,
yeah,
he probably might hurt somebody in the gym, but the reason why he's probably doing it in the gym is probably because the owner knows. So there, but you have to always have the disclaimer that just for the ones that think that, you should be training with things with doing splits is bad for your groin. It's like, chill.
I don't think in terms of like commentary, like comment section stuff, when I do crazy stuff or I see other people do crazy stuff and I'll take a peek at, you know, what people are saying or responding with. It's not so much the irresponsibility of doing something that someone else will emulate. It's more they just like, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to injure
Yeah.
yourself. This is stupid. This is just for views. You're just going to hurt yourself. So they're more telling the person doing it that they're dumb rather than saying they're irresponsible and sending a bad message. So I think
Yeah.
people they tend to understand like, this is just for fun or it's crazy or he's just trying to get attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Good answer, man. Well, that's the first one. Let's go. Impact on followers and responsibility. Jesus. You've clearly inspired many with your innovative methods. Can you share a success story from one of your followers and also address how you ensure that your content doesn't inadvertently encourage risk behavior?
Um, I'll answer it in reverse. I don't think my I don't think my content inadvertently encourages risky behavior. I think more than anything, it encourages people to have fun and take it
Yeah,
lightly and enjoy it. It's like, oh, this is fun. Yeah, it is fun. It can be fun. You have the privilege of being able to expend um, extracurricular energy and eat all these calories and waste it on something like this. You know, there's
yeah,
people who aren't so lucky in the world who are in, difficult to live in countries under harsher circumstances with not as many resources. And, go back 1,000 years ago. People literally didn't have the calories to do all the work they needed to do in the day. So they just crashed. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
peasants sucks to be a peasant. So it's like
yeah,
if we have these resources available to have fun and do them, then dude, like it's a good life. It's fun.
yeah,
Just have some fun with it. You be thankful. You get to work out. You don't have to work out.
yeah.
And then what was the first question?
The first was any success story. Can you share a success story from say one of your followers if you have any?
Sure.
That yeah, you definitely if you have if you
I,
have any
I mean,
followers.
yeah, not naming specific names, but a general theme I get from people in terms of good feedback is, hey, I started watching your material and it's inspired me a lot. It makes things so much fun, and I've started to go to the gym and create better habits. And just seeing you have this much fun doing it and stick with it for so long, just it really helped me out. And so I've been working out since the beginning of this year, and I've lost 80 pounds, or it could be any number of things. But I mean, in general, it's the attitude I'm trying to project is a real attitude, and it's a responsibility. I feel like it's a duty to just spread that.
Yeah,
Just like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
let's have some fun, dude. Let's
yeah,
let's let's get it. Let's be happy. Let's get enthusiastic about things. And
yeah,
I think that gets people moving. I mean, excitement is such a better motivator than discipline.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think like it's cool because we we're we get similar like I think we all get the same type of feedback from subscribers or followers, whatever, that we're helping them and we're helping change their life in some sort, and we're all doing that in our own way and our own interpretation of our own fitness journey, which is so cool to see because we're all like because we come from a place where like fitness has brought joy to our life,
Mhm.
and you can see it through what you do. Like I've it's always been something fun, you know what I mean? Like when I coach, people can see that I really enjoy this, so it's cool to kind of share these moments with with other creators like yourself, that it's we're all doing the same shit with fitness. We're just doing
Yeah.
it our own unique way. You're just flipping around putting horses on your head and stuff, and it's dope.
I think both me and you can agree. It's just like there's this feeling you get, and the feeling gets stronger the more you do it. So actually,
Yeah,
the better you get at it, the more you get out of it. Like the
yeah,
highs
yeah,
of training get even better, the rewards get even better.
yeah,
It gets to the point where it's like the alternative is way worse. Like if you told me I couldn't like work out or move or train anymore, I'd have a really hard time with that. You see what I'm saying?
yes, yeah, yeah. I look like I was saying earlier, my I'm in prep. I'm 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks out from my last show ever. So I'm doing the Olympia, what do you call it?
Ooh,
The Master
you're
Olympia. So
you're
that's
circling the drain, man.
I'm good though. I'm actually like
Really?
excited. Oh my god, yeah. I was good to be retired from the last. I was prepping 2 years ago, and I
Yeah.
didn't make it to the stage. I got sick last minute. It was the worst. It was like I looked so good. I was like, ah. But then in there, I was like fine with it. I finished. I was like, I'm good. I'm not gonna volleyball. It came off everything. I got into acting. I got some like good like gigs and whatnot, um and then I was fine with not doing it at all. And then this came up, and I was always just training to keep myself in relative striking distance if I had to. Just being a bodybuilder, having it back there. And that's only I was like, this is a good opportunity. My last show ever. My goal was when I turned pro, I was like, if I can make it to the Olympia by the time I was 40, that would be like my goal. And this happened. I was like, I'm turning 40 this year. I'm like, what the heck? And they actually dropped the age group to 40 instead of 45. I was like,
Ooh.
let me just see if I could what the requirements are for this. So I just threw my name in the hat, and they're like, yeah, put application in this and that. And then they called me back. I was like, cool. I'm like, holy shit, I made it. So,
Wow.
but the next step for me, like I'm already planning it because I was already doing it before this prep, and I was like, I want to get like honestly, like I'm not trying to sound like the fanboy. I would need to get myself athletically like yourself. That has been my goal. Is like I need to when I finished my last show, I was tumbling, so I had a tumbling coach, and I was working on that. I was doing stunt acting for this movie I was in. I'm like, this is where I want to be. I need to get down more weight. I'm too big. I didn't
Yeah.
want to like force the weight off. And then I was like competing for the show. It's like, this is perfect. It's gonna make me have to weigh less. And now I weigh like 212, and I was
Wow.
260 like 2 years ago.
Dude, things are lining. Wow, dude.
Yeah. I was
Wow.
like, yeah, I look at pictures and I'm like, gee, that kid, there's no way in hell I could breathe. I was my peak weight, I was like 270, and I'd walk around like 260, 265 in the off season. I would compete at like 234.
Yeah.
And now it's so like the next chapter for me is like get as athletic as you possibly can again. Because I come from a football background. I've always been
Oh
athletic.
yeah.
Then as soon as I played, as soon as I started bodybuilding, that's when, you know,
It's
you
gonna be
gotta
so much fun for you though to start to
yes.
explore all those because that type of
Yeah.
training is like it's a whole world of just it's just so much fun and it's
Yeah.
so different from bodybuilding training, which I also like bodybuilding training, it's just like the thing I like about bodybuilding training is no matter how crappy you feel or how crappy of a workout it ended up being, you always feel better afterwards. That's the
100%.
thing I love about it.
Yeah,
Powerlifting, I
100%.
can't say the same thing about. You have a bad powerlifting workout, and you might be wrecked for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
ruins your
Yeah.
soul, just
Yeah.
hurts and stuff. But that's exciting, man. But I was
Yeah.
saying, circling the drain because 3 weeks out is when the diet starts to, it's about 8 weeks out. You start to kind of feel it, like, oh, I'm kind of hungry here and there. 3
I've
weeks
I've
out,
had a
it's
I've
getting
had a
pretty
couple I've
close.
had a couple I've had a couple coffees today. I'm feeling
Decaf, decaf, my friend. Get the decaf in the evening.
no, yeah, but it's kind of wearing off.
Yeah.
I'm definitely definitely not having like coffee at night. I won't sleep.
No,
Um,
yeah.
so let me see. We got impact of followers, and we got here business ethics and personal values
Okay,
from
that's interesting.
from
Feel like I'm
all right.
pulling a card out of a card deck.
Right. From supplements to clothing, your business ventures have expanded. How do you align these products with your personal philosophy? And what do you say to those who might accuse you of commercializing your brand at the expense of authenticity?
Oh, that's an easy one to answer. I'm going to give everyone listening to this that's interested in running their own business or starting a business how to go about doing it. It's the way I did it. It's probably the way you did it too. You're probably this is gonna resound with you. It's I call it the scratch your own itch business. So basically, every product that I sell is something that I want for myself that
Yes.
doesn't exist. So the stretchy pants I made for flexibility training, the workout pajamas, the short shorts, the smelling salts, the programs I wrote that are spiral bound, I wrote them for they're my programs. They're literally
Yeah.
for me. I wrote them for me, and then
Yeah.
I would just put them in a format and word them and work them together so other people could actually do the same thing. You don't have to do the same weight. You don't have to do all the same, like at the same level, but the general template is this is what I used for myself to do this, and this is how you can use it too. So
Yes.
everything that I sell is something that I want for myself, that I made for myself, and so it's natural for me to promote something that I'm just using.
Yeah.
Like this hoodie, for example. This is a prototype. This is a lavalier pocket, okay, for a YouTuber. All right, we got a
Cool.
special
So
lavalier pocket made,
it's so
and
smart.
it's a sleeveless hoodie. It's got this, and it's got a special pocket here where you can put your
Yo,
phone in front of that. You see what's going on? So
yo, I
I wanted all these features on a sleeveless hoodie, and the hood is an Assassin's Creed hoodie. So it's got a three-pleat hood. So
yeah,
it's not out yet. We're still developing it, but I wanted this for myself because I wear sleeveless
yeah,
hoodies a lot. I just like them. So I'm wearing this not to promote. You see what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
literally
yeah,
promoting things naturally and organically, and ethically, because this is stuff that I use for myself.
yeah, yeah,
You can buy it
yeah,
if you want.
yeah. I like
I'm
it's
just gonna continue
genius.
wearing it.
I like it. It's genius. I'm like, yo, that's I always want to find spot my fucking lav mic. What lav mic do you
Yeah,
what lav mic do you use? Do you use a like what do you use?
DJI.
The Duo Pro one?
The DJI ones that are remote that came out in April of I think the year
Last
beforehand.
and it
Yeah.
comes in a little case and has two batteries. I mean two
Yep.
mics, and then yeah, I have two of those. Those are awesome.
Oh, they're great, aren't they?
So to put him just like that one in there, that's what it's
Yeah.
for. So, yeah, to put yeah,
Pocket is
cool.
very, yeah. It's just big
That's
enough to put something like that in. Yeah.
that's
But
perfect.
I mean, even if you're not a YouTuber or creating content or videos, just it's still a pocket you do other things with, but it's sort of thing like, hey, I did it for me. Like if you don't
Yeah,
want to use
yeah.
the pocket, you don't have to. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind of what I'm getting around to here.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
fun to create a business that's like that. If you've ever had to work for a company, so for example, we'll throw back real quick to my day job I had. At the biotech job for 7 years, we sold
yeah, yeah.
liquid handling equipment for the life sciences. There were some pieces of equipment in the portfolio that just didn't work very well. And I hated selling and promoting products that
Yeah,
sucked. I was like, this
yeah,
thing doesn't work. I'd always have to, because I communicated with customers, I was in between engineers and salespeople. So I'd often be caught in the middle and have to talk to a customer, and they'd be leaning towards this one product. I'm like, no, I was like, please don't buy that product. It's a fucking nightmare
yeah,
to service. I'd always have to redirect them towards something else in our
yeah,
portfolio that was worth a crap. But it feels really slimy and bad, and just it's awful to promote something that you don't believe in. So
yeah,
I don't.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Easy answer for you.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we have is this actually this one? No, you've built a strong community around brand fostering connections with followers. How have you nurtured this community, and how do you handle the inevitable criticisms and disagreements that arise within it?
I think this is just more along the lines of how do you handle hate.
Yeah. So what
I
is
think
okay,
it's
so
more
give
relevant.
me some examples of like what is like I feel like, I feel like you don't I feel like yeah, at some level when you get enough followers, you have hate regardless, this is gonna come at you. I feel like
Yeah.
you don't have that much visual because you don't put out stuff that attracts trolls. You know what I mean? Like if I'm am I right?
I mean, I probably get less hate than a lot of other people just because the nature of the content I'm putting out
Yeah,
there um
yeah.
is less controversial. It's not meant to be controversial. It's not meant to be like news or breaking or dramatized or anything like that. So I don't know. Compare app, I don't know how much more other people get. Also, I don't take myself too seriously, so it's
Yeah.
pretty easy. But no, everyone gets hate, negative criticism and comments and stuff, or So, I mean, how do
Have
you
you
deal with it, for example?
me? I don't. I
Okay.
so like for me, like I'm a younger brother. I have, I'm a competitive family. My older brother's a battle rapper, so like he's one of the only people I know that can literally get under my skin without even thinking. He could just
Ah,
like do something and I'd be like, oh, just so like growing up with stuff like that and like and then being on yourself, hard on yourself back and when I was younger and whatnot. It's like you really can't say much to me that I haven't already said to myself, then got over. So when it
yeah,
comes to like people saying things and hating and whatnot, it's like I don't take it serious at all because I know it's not coming from anything that's real. you know,
Yeah.
and it's a waste of time. Like, and I see like there's comments that are like extremely, you know, rude or just like dumb, and I'm like,
Hmm.
doesn't I don't care. Like, I really don't care.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you something that's interesting. I think a lot of people probably haven't thought about it this way, and you might like this. Okay, let's say you get 100,000 view video. Okay, and you get maybe 1,000 comments on that. That's probably about the average number of comments from a YouTube video that's not super controversial that'll have that many views. So maybe 1% of the views has comment to go with it. Okay, this is where it's going to get fun. All right. So of those 1,000 comments, I'm going to say, an average video, maybe 10 to 20 of them are negative or rude. Okay. So literally we're getting down to the like what, the 0.1% of
Yeah.
the people that watched the video actually vocalized something that was like that. All right. Now think about it. In the 0.1% of the people that watched this video, you know how many people in the world have mental disorders? A
Yeah.
lot more than 0.1%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
literally the chances of it being actually a crazy person that is sitting in could be a psych ward for God's sake, commenting some batshit fucking crazy crap on your video that has this unhealthy attachment to you and this weird fixation on you, and is blaming his life or her life on whatever is that you're projecting out there. It's a very strong probability that literally it's a crazy person commenting on your video that wrote that negative comment when you do the
Yeah.
statistics like that.
Yeah.
Funny to think about that.
I can agree because you can tell by how like emotionally engaged some of the answers are from like a
Yeah.
you know, it's like this is just content, guys. Like this is unhealthy. Like you need to go chill the hell out. Like go take a breather. Like why this? You can't be this like there was a comment of I always like kind of like joke around on waiter curls from Athlete X.
Uh-huh.
And then if I do any video on like Athlete X and like, and I'll make it light, there'll be a few comments that I'm just like, wow, like you cannot be that loyal to Athlete X that you are gonna just say the most stupid thing, like
Yeah.
in like a paragraph, like
Right.
so 100%, yeah, definitely someone just like just twitching out somewhere, like I can't believe you said that about.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
probability.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can shake it, but I mean that's just a fun one that's just a fun way of thinking about it. That's a whole podcast in itself
Yeah,
is
yeah.
dealing with criticism.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, collaboration and integrity. Your collaborations with other fitness enthusiasts are well received. Can you talk about a particular meaningful collaboration and how you ensure that those you work with align with your values, especially when focused with potential commercial pressures?
I don't really feel any potential commercial pressures things when
No.
it comes to collaborations. I don't really think that's part of the whole equation.
Yeah, yeah.
As far I look at collaborations, there's a couple things here, and one of them you're doing very well with, which is I've noticed the people that really kind of like people stop paying attention to them, the content that the videos are producing aren't reaching as much, and it's usually because they just stop working with other people. If you go down and you look to see what's going on, usually it's because people stop working with other people. I think it's important to work with other people. I
Yeah,
mean, outside the context of making videos. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I look at it from a personal, like something I'm getting out of it personally. When I work with other people, I get to learn from them. I get to see them in their natural environment. If I'm going to them, I get to just observe and notice and pick up on things in a general feeling, attitude. You can learn so much. So I'm
yeah, yeah,
so thankful that I've had the privilege of having this weird ass hall pass where I could just work with almost anyone in the fitness industry
yeah,
across all these different disciplines. It is a fucking blessing, dude. I'm so thankful for it that I'm
yeah,
just accepted like that. But I do it not because it's like, oh, I got to get a video to get views. It's like I want to work with this person because I want to learn more because it's exciting.
yeah, yeah,
So everyone wins there because the audience loves to see people get together and see what the chemistry is going to be like.
yeah,
And then I get to, work with the person off camera. It's like, okay, we're done filming now, but then I get to hang out with them and chat with them
yeah,
and eat a meal
yeah,
with them and
yeah,
God, maybe hang out in their like walk around in Brian Shaw's kitchen, for example, and hang out
yeah,
with his sons for a second. It's
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
I love collaborations, man. I think it's one of the most important things, and I understand why that content is some of the best.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
doing a great job of it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I totally agree. It's for me, it's like, it is the exact same thing. It's being able to take in that, just once you think you're done learning, you're done living.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so much that you can learn from someone else's walk of life if you just kind of like sit back and observe. And if they allow you to come into their life and you can collaborate your lifestyles, there's so much cool, like the stuff that comes out of it organically.
Mhm.
I've made some pretty cool friends, um, and I'll only collaborate. Like I do my background because I don't want to be in a position where I collaborate with somebody. I'm just like, I'll do like pre-calls and like have a conversation and see how the conversation goes. And it's always, and I've been blessed at being able to collaborate with some people who are really, really cool. And then be like, yeah, in another lifetime, or like even now, it's like we probably could have grew up and been friends or whatever. And that's pretty cool to see. So I definitely like agree with it. It's collaborating it's not like anything you do for commercial reasons or whatever, more so in like we're in a unique world where we get to share our love for fitness, and then that brings other people joy watching it together. And it's like you're watching your two favorite TV shows, doing a cool series together, like crossover, right?
Yeah.
Totally
No,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where it's getting at, man. That's where not just the fitness industry, but all industries, sectors, and
Yeah.
entertainment outlets is it's becoming like a huge Avengers thing because that's why those Avengers movies are so popular. It's like, oh, you
Yes.
get to see Ant-Man work out with the Hulk. What's gonna
Yeah.
happen? My favorite
Yeah.
superhero is gonna so they're curious how the chemistry is gonna be. And it's no different in anything else where you have these two people that have had different paths, and now you put them together to see what happens, to see what comes up in
Yeah.
conversation and
Yeah.
training. It's
Yeah.
fucking great, isn't it?
Yeah. Life balance and priorities. With such a demanding regimen of various interests, how do you maintain balance in your life? What are the sacrifices you've made, and how do you respond to those who question whether it's all sustainable?
Okay. I'm going to answer the question laterally. So I think the key here is it's hard. Let's put it this way. When you're talking about balance, it's usually competition is going to come in, like competing for resources in a field, trying to get ahead, trying to get on top, trying to hit the grind. Okay, blah, 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 blah. It's really going to be very hard to compete against someone that is doing it uh, because it's what they would do anyway, even if it wasn't for business or
Yes.
wealth or money accrual. Um, I did this for 16 years before I made a penny. It was never a goal of mine to make money doing what I did. It just so happened that at one point I got a $200 check for doing the splits. I was like, oh fuck. Like I was showing everyone. I was like, look, mom, like I got paid to do the splits. Isn't that cool? I got $200 to do the fucking splits. I thought it was the coolest damn thing in the world. And then more and more things started to come in. I just started to get paid to do the thing that I was doing anyway. If I
Yeah.
stopped getting paid right now, I would still be doing that thing
Yeah.
because it's what I do. It's like, so it's going to be hard to compete against someone that's going to do something anyway. It's just
Yeah.
like, this is what I do for fun. This doesn't feel
Yeah.
like work. This is play.
Yeah.
It only becomes
Exactly.
work when I have to do so much more of it than I would do, intuitively. But there's still a baseline level of activity here in doing this thing that I do that is, work. So in terms
Yeah.
of achieving work-life balance, it's just like, dude, my work is play and my work is, it's what I do. It's like
Yeah.
I'm just amusing myself and doing my thing. I'm making products I want for myself. I'm making videos
Yeah.
for the most part that are just like shit I want to make. And
Yeah.
it's so it's not something that needs to be balanced or
It does.
calibrated so much. It's always an
Yeah.
equilibrium.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. Totally. I get I'll talk to somebody who's working, they work a normal, not I would say normal, like, they're either like construction or labor or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And, like, what do you do? And then I'm like, oh, I do this. And I'm kind of like, man, my job's really fun. Like, I really enjoy this like a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there's the struggles here and there of like being a business owner or whatnot that are going to come. But then you're like, this comes with the territory and I love it regardless.
Right. I love
Yeah.
the pressure of it too, Johnny. I don't
Yeah.
know if you feel this way too, but today I told you I did a 2-hour workout with the
Yeah.
front splits is what I was training. I was filming things for a project I'm working on. So I had to do that for that was a job I had to do. So
Yeah.
I had to get it done. And it's just like, I have to do the splits right now. Like, this is my
Yeah.
job. And it's just
Yeah.
like, even if I don't feel like doing it, which I didn't feel that great going into the workout, having that pressure come back, I was like, I'd like having that pressure.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
like having to have to do the thing that, I do anyway, even when I don't want to do it. It's a good pressure. So I really
Yeah.
fucking love that. So,
Yeah.
um, you
Do you,
know,
are, one thing I want to ask, and this is probably the last one because there's other ones, but for my own, because I have this my own, I have this feeling for myself. I look at it as like being aware of the duality that I have
mhm.
personally with my life. Do you feel there's like a duality that you coexist, like you have different like personalities all existing in one that are controlling this entire business of yours, right? There's Juji, there's JujiMufu, the brand. There's
Mhm.
John Call, probably the owner of the incorporation or whatever. Do you like how do you feel that way?
I am from what everybody I know has told me, I'm the same person on camera, off camera, in
Yeah,
video, out of video, by myself. And, it's just the volume level changes,
yeah,
because
yeah,
the energy
yeah,
level changes. What I put out there is, I have to, boom, energy has to go up for this. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And then my energy obviously has to kind of go back down in a trough so I can recover. So it's just it's a different volume level. That's all it is. And it's just
yeah,
based on the amount of energy that I have, allocated towards existing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like sometimes I'm lower energy me and sometimes I'm a higher energy me, but I'm always me.
yeah,
Would you say the same for you, same thing for yourself, or do you
yeah,
have different roles that you play here?
yeah. Like it's for me, it's like when you're talking about like you have to do the splits, it's your job to do the splits. You have a project to get done, whether you like to do it or not, you have to do it. But that's the pressure that's great about it, is because and for me, I kind of like I could see the dualities of you know Jonathan Shreve, the owner of Johnny Shreve Inc., needs Johnny Shreve, the talent to take pictures for the ebook that we're putting out, because you know what I mean. So
Hmm.
I can see all the roles that I play in one role that makes it really cool, knowing that that's, you're in control of all of it,
Yeah.
and then, it's cool to just kind of, take a step back and just watch kind of things happen and see how much you're in a bunch of places at once and still controlling those things, So yeah.
Oh, it's exciting. No, what you have set up for yourself sounds a lot similar to me. There's a lot of different hats you got to wear,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
the cool thing is, it's like, hey, if you only had to wear one hat, I don't know, man, it wouldn't be as exciting as being able to wear different hats. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot falls on your shoulders being the one kind of in charge, but I mean, we probably do the same thing. I think everyone does something like this. It's just you have, if you get tired of working on something at the moment, like physically fatigued, like, oh God, this is exhausting. You can go work on something else that's part of your brand or your
Yes.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
And it's still like productive. It's still work. It's still fulfilling. It's still exciting to you, but it's just a slight change of pace or change of activity. And then of course, like, well, you have the reserves to work on that.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm sitting here in my head getting text out, writing, and other times I'm filming, and other times I'm prepping for a workout, other times
Yeah.
I'm working out, other times hey, I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just when something gets a little too exhausting, you always have all these other things you got to do. You just switch to something else,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, man. Well, you know what? I'm gonna wrap it up. This was awesome, honored. And I can't wait to actually, get to do this in person. So we'll figure that out.
Yeah. No, we'll see each other
Yes.
in September.
Yeah.
So after this podcast,
We'll
we'll
chat. Yeah.
chat about
Yeah.
it because I don't know
Yeah.
the exact dates yet, but let
Yeah.
me I'll have to pull up my calendar.
But we are going to make it happen. We're going to see my boy John, the two Johns, in person. I'm going to soak up all the excellent athletic abilities and tricks and everything you need to know about flexibility, flipping, or whatever. We're gonna make it work soon for you guys to see and share again. So thank you again for coming on the channel. Really appreciate it. Guys, follow Juji if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure you have, but you could follow you at, is just JujiMufu on everything?
Yeah, JujiMufu.com, JujiMufu on Instagram, JujiMufu on YouTube. Just don't misspell it. It's JujiMufu.
Yeah, perfect. All right, guys. Thank you again for stopping by. Until next time, you guys know what it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.